Valley and Richmond. Lay on the floor! Hey, lay on the fucking floor! Hey man. Get on the floor now! Bro, I didn't do nothing! I didn't do nothing! Contact with male, give me your elbow.
Around 8 a.m. in September 2023, officers with the Las Cruces Police Department in New Mexico were dispatched to a local Walmart after store staff reported an active shoplifting incident in progress. Dispatch identified two suspects, 30-year-old Miguel and 35-year-old Manuel, observed removing price tags and concealing store merchandise inside a shared backpack before any police units arrived on scene. Before officers could make contact, both suspects fled the store on foot. Under New Mexico statutes annotated section 30207, their conduct had already established sufficient probable cause for a lawful shoplifting arrest. The officer gave immediate chase. Under Illinois versus Wardlow, decided in 2000, unprovoked flight from police in an area linked to criminal activity is a recognized factor supporting reasonable suspicion to pursue. The subjects split mid-chase. The primary officer pursued Miguel through rocky landscape terrain near the parking lot before a second officer moved to intercept him from the opposite direction, ending the foot pursuit.
I think he ran after. Yeah, they're going out jam right now.
On the other side?
Yeah.
Are you gonna get charged? Valley and Richmond. Lay on the floor! Hey, lay on the fucking floor! Hey man. Get on the floor now! Bro, I didn't do nothing! I didn't do nothing! Contact with male,
Give me your elbow.
Should be a female by the subway. Wearing that gray jacket.
Double up.
Hey! Let's go, man!
Quit pulling your elbow.
Hey, man! What are you guys talking about?
Why are you running? Why? Because what?
Man!
There's no need to run.
I didn't do nothing wrong! I put that on everything! Why are you guys arresting me?
I was gonna be here walking.
Hey! Can you guys please tell me why you guys arresting me? Hey! Please tell me where!
Let's go.
Now you're under arrest for resisting.
No, but why are you guys arresting me?
You got him, bro?
Where's my hair?
What? Come on.
This guy just... Very
Okay, you think that it's smart to run?
No, but...
Okay, so you know that the reason you're running. We're not gonna play this.
Miguel was taken to the ground and ordered to comply. He actively resisted, pulling his elbow back and rolling his body. Under NMSA section 30221, resisting a lawful detention is a separate criminal offense. Two officers applied physical control to secure Miguel. Under Graham v. 5, Connor, established by the Supreme Court in 1989, force is evaluated by objective reasonableness from the officer's perspective at the moment of decision. Once secured, officers search the backpack. Under Chimel v. California, a search incident to a lawful arrest is constitutionally valid under the Fourth Amendment. Inside, merchandise with original store tags still attached. Officers explained the situation clearly. Stolen goods, flight, and resistance meant a citation was no longer possible. The decision to run had already changed the outcome before Miguel was ever taken to the ground. Attention shifted to Manuel. Miguel denied knowing her. Officers challenged this immediately. Surveillance showed the two together throughout the incident. That denial can support an inference of consciousness of guilt at trial. An officer opened an informal cooperation discussion. Miguel disclosed a prior drug trafficking conviction, 9 years in prison, and ongoing use of methamphetamine and fentanyl pills information. He volunteered without hesitation. This raises a Fifth Amendment concern. Under Miranda v. Arizona, decided in 1966, custodial interrogation requires a rights advisement before questioning. No documented Miranda warning appears on the footage prior to this exchange. Miguel attempted to trade cooperation for leniency, offering vague tips about a dealer named Bobby on a bicycle near a local motel. The officer correctly identified the information as low quality and lacking any actionable specificity. Officers also probed for intelligence on a local homicide and illegal firearms. This reflects a standard field strategy, using a misdemeanor arrest to gather intelligence on higher priority felony criminal activity in the surrounding area. The officer was candid at the close. Charges would proceed regardless. But verified intelligence on guns or trafficking could be presented to the court as a mitigating factor. The standard framework for informal cooperation in field settings. Miguel continued speaking without counsel present. Under the Sixth Amendment, the right to counsel attaches upon formal charging. With a prior trafficking conviction and 9 years served, this was a significant and avoidable legal risk.
I can make me run this early in the morning, bro.
Hold on, get close. Jean jacket, short shorts.
I'm not sure there's a jacket. That's light gray.
What was your chick wearing? Be straight with me. What was your chick wearing?
I can't even remember.
We're playing this game, dude. What was she wearing?
I went in by myself, man.
No, you didn't. It's on camera. You guys are together. Cut it out. Hey, what's your name?
Angel Garcia.
Okay, Mr. Garcia.
Yes.
Quit playing this game. What was she wearing?
You have 2-5.
What's your name? Mr. Garcia.
Yeah, Nate.
What's the name of that female?
I just got nervous because I had that.
Mr. Garcia. Because you had...
Yeah.
What? Nervous for that?
Yeah.
There ain't even nothing in there.
I know, man.
Hey, what's your name?
Garcia Miguel.
No, her name. Manuela?
No.
No?
Nate. Why ain't nothing wrong, man?
Well, running is doing something wrong.
But can I please? Can you please?
No, nigga. That's how much, bro. You have an ID on you, bro? Huh? So I was talking to Loss Prevention on their side, waiting for them. And the boy told me, hey, they just ran out. On the other side, I come out of the store, and I see them running.
Showing use of force matches the description. But I mean, did we point our taser at him? Show of force, not a use of force. Okay. He's already under arrest, so.
This is why he said he got scared.
What he has is going to be in there if he has anything. He's already under arrest.
Oh, he already looked.
There you go. Here's your answer. There's the bag. There's the drive, too.
The bag, taking that tag on it. I said, come on, man. I said, where are you at?
It was literally in front of Walmart the whole time until that little corner and I saw you.
I saw you running, all slow-mo, going through the subway. I was like, this guy. That's it.
Maybe allow him to leave. And that's what I'm saying.
904, so you can email me his picture? You're going to jail.
Why, brother?
You just ran from this officer all the way from the Walmart and then you got stolen items in your bag. We're not going to play this game. Is it what?
Is that enough to go to jail?
Yes, it's enough to go to jail. Just running alone.
Come on, man. I've seen you guys let people go because of that.
No, not for that.
It's my first time, you know?
I don't know. If it was your first time, you shouldn't have been running. You could have easily probably got a ticket and that was it. But you decided to run. No, you don't get that opportunity anymore.
Man, I didn't even see the cop coming back on me until they told me, he told me to stop.
The cop was chasing you from the Walmart. We're not playing that. Quit playing that.
Okay, well,
quit playing. I'm not dumb. I'm not gonna play this.
I ran, but I didn't know he was chasing me.
He was yelling at you. Who, you just running for fun? With a bag full of merchandise?
I told my girl I'm taking off, cause you know.
I'm not gonna play this.
Come on, man.
Yo, this shit is funny as hell. I saw you running. You said, "But that's not way." And then I was like, "Are you that far?"
It's still hot, man.
Probably just because it hit. So as I'm coming through, you said Subway. I was like, "Where's he at? Where's he at?" Because I thought you were still running through a parking lot.
You know what's funny, bro? He went through that big pile of rocks, the ones that you have to go like this. And I was like, "You're gonna make me go through the rocks?"
And then I see you, and it looks slow motion. It's just you're like,
I was tired right here. I was like, "Look, better stop." And then right here, I saw him slowing down. And once he saw you, he was like,
you're like,
"Did you?" He said, "What'd I do?"
the audacity. Let's go to Walmart.
Yeah, just a.
Or
That's good.
This it?
And I just see them like running through the big ass rocks, and I was like, nah, I'm not getting out on foot.
Forget that.
Cut him off.
Ankle, man. Break an ankle on the ground.
I cut him off. When I cut him off, dude, Adrian was already behind him with his taser, and I was like, you're not going anywhere.
Tasers for slow people, huh, Adrian?
Bro, this boy was just cruising behind him.
45 feet. No, dude. I was at the door, and the worker was like, "Oh, they're running." Who's running? And they're like, "The guys." So I walk out here, and I see old boy like past the trees running. I'm like, oh.
And you still caught him?
Yeah.
Damn,
No,
bro.
I was gasped, bro.
Oh, I bet.
That's why I pulled out the taser, bro.
He said, oh, thank God.
After finding out their past criminal history, Miguel and Manuela were asked to spill the tea on known drug dealers and stolen goods.
I mean,
He has a trafficking prior.
he had a little baggie, but he was like, it's nothing in there.
That's why he said he ran.
Talk to good till you get. Alright, bro. So, I'm not trying to screw you over. Okay, I'm not one of those guys. Obviously, I saw what's in your bag. Right? You told that officer what you were scared of about getting caught with that little bag of stuff. What do you use? Clear? Meth? So you have that, and also I saw that you have a history of trafficking charges, right? What's that about?
It's selling drugs to an undercover and screw my life up.
What'd you sell them?
American and heroin.
How long ago was that?
That was about 9 years ago.
A while ago.
And I did 9 years in prison for it.
You did 9 years in prison? You still use
Yeah.
meth?
If you was to tell me straight, I'll go to rehab right now, man. I promise I'll go to
How much do you use a day?
quite a bit, around like
Yeah. I can help you. You can help me, right? You already know how it works, bro. You've been in and out of the game for a while. You did time. You know how it works. With that being said, is there any substantial information that you can provide to me to help me do my job that would help me on that aspect? And then I can see what I can do to help you. So, where are you buying your shit at? Who are you getting it from? Where are you using from? Where are you picking up at?
It's just random parts in the street, and we just go out looking for it, really.
Both suspects were ultimately charged with misdemeanor shoplifting, resisting and evading arrest, and criminal trespass under NMSA Section 30141. Bond status remained undetermined at the time of this analysis. Post-release records show the pair was arrested multiple additional times. Their combined total reached 15 documented arrests, dating back to 2020, a pattern that extended well beyond this single Walmart incident. The officers receive a B+. The pursuit, arrest, and evidence recovery were each legally sound. The one concern, no Miranda advisement, is documented on camera before the informal cooperation questioning got underway. Miguel receives a D. Flight converted a likely citation into a custodial arrest. Active resistance added charges. His unrepresented cooperation discussion produced nothing of value, while creating additional legal exposure for himself. Manuel receives a C-. She fled, denied involvement despite clear surveillance evidence, and spoke without counsel. Less physically confrontational than Miguel, but her legal decision-making throughout the encounter was equally poor.
Because there's not like a basic dealer. It's like whoever has it, and you basically I just walk around in the street and ask.
If I gave you a dub right now, where are you going to go pick up from?
A dub?
Where would you go right now?
Oh, $20 bill?
Like, we give you 20 bucks, like, here's 20 bucks, go where you know you can get some.
Where are you going to walk right now that you know you can go pick up?
One of my friends, probably.
You don't use blues?
Yeah.
You do use blues too? So I know that's a little bit different than clear.
Right.
So what about blues?
Yes.
Because I've been hearing some people's names,
Right.
but I haven't seen those people. And I know if you're deep in it like that, bro, I know you know people. I'm not saying you do anything or you slang, but I know you know people.
I know.
Right.
Oh yeah, we're the ones that you were.
Where you get, not even you, bro. Where is it that you can go, anybody, me, him, you, go pick up right now and I know I can go get 20, 30, 40 pills if I want to. Where could you go, bro, to get blues?
Just a friend that I usually go and ask.
Who's your friend?
Bobby. He usually drives a bike.
He drives a bike? What kind of bike? A motorcycle?
Regular bike.
Bicycle.
he doesn't have a stable apartment, but he sells. So that's what I did.
So you don't have any names?
Bob, I could say. Yeah. Bob or one.
Mr. Garcia.
Yeah.
Look, I already can tell you're BSing us. No. The reason I can tell is you've been in the game.
Right.
Number one, you have priors for trafficking. Okay, so we're not gonna play this BS game with like, you know, this guy on a bike. Look, I'm being straight with you. I know right now if I give you a 20, you know exactly where to walk to, and they'll be there, and they got good amounts of what you're trying to pick up.
The clearest lesson from Las Cruces. Flight escalates consequences. A petty misdemeanor with a possible citation became a custodial arrest with multiple charges the moment both suspects chose to run from the Walmart parking lot. The second lesson. Never speak without counsel present, especially with a prior record. Miguel disclosed his full criminal and drug history unprompted. Every word spoken in custody without an attorney can and will be used against the speaker. Let us know if there is an interaction or legal topic you would like covered in the comments below. If you found this analysis useful, please like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. We will see you in the next one.
Whether it's clear or blues, I don't care. Right. But you're hitting us with some BS that it's a guy on a bike. I know you know where you would specifically go right now. You know all this. So let's quit playing this game. Be straight with me. Shoot me straight. Where would you go right now?
Yeah.
Give me an address.
I live by...
Who? Where?
The homeboy. I'm telling you.
Bob?
He stays there?
Bobby?
Yeah.
What does he look like?
He's
White?
That area you're saying, bro, we're there every day, bro. That's our area. Right? So we know a lot of people that are there.
I've seen you guys stop me before and shit.
So,
and I'm always here in that area.
What room are you going to?
What room?
Look me in my eye and tell me. I don't want you to BS me.
Basically, I go to wherever I see him. 4 and 9.
How much was it?
4 and 9?
Yeah, man, I haven't seen you, man. I do this.
He's between room 4 and 9? That's how I know you're BSing me. That it's
because he doesn't stay at homie. Homie is.
What's his actual name?
His actual name, man, I wouldn't be able to.
Look, it doesn't come back to you, but right now you're not helping yourself because you're not giving us anything. Because the places you're telling us, the people you're telling us, number 1, you're not giving us even a person. Number 2, the place that he just...
I don't know his last name, brother, but I know...
Bobby, guy on a bike.
Yeah.
How many people ride bikes that are white? Come on, bro.
What you guys do?
Look,
he's there.
This is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna close this door. I'll let you think about it, because right now I know you're just trying to... You're trying to BS us right now.
You have the girl?
You know his name, but I know you're not gonna tell me because you're BS. What's his actual name, dude? Here, look at me in the eye. What's his actual name? Because I know you know it, because you're thinking about it and you're thinking, should I dye my boy out because I pick up from him? It's not coming back to you. Quit thinking that, oh, they're going to know it was me. How many other people pick up from him? Son? Okay. How many of them you think get hooked up for stupid shit like shoplifting, trespassing, random, right? You think they wouldn't dye him out to save some?
Yeah.
Okay. So you think it's going to come back to you? So give me something that I can go off of, dude. Because right now, you don't got nothing. And I know you know stuff because you used to be in the game hard if you're trafficking. I don't know if you still are or you cut that shit out, but I know you know. Know what I mean? So, shoot me straight, I'll shoot you straight. Huh? What? That's the guy you're picking up? He stays at... What is he? I need more than just, dude.
I don't know that. I promise.
Where is he staying at?
He doesn't have a house.
Doesn't have a house.
He just picks up and sells in the street.
Where can I go to find him?
On the belt. Down the street.
Down the street? Of where? On. What does he look like, dude? Huh?
White.
White? White with what?
White.
Tattoos, long hair, short hair, fucking tall.
Like your hair.
Okay. So medium hair? White, how tall?
About you. A little taller than you.
A little taller than you? So like 5'8", 5'9"?
Hey. What?
What's your name?
Manuela?
Manuela what?
Ida?
What dead body are you talking about? Who did what?
So I'm upstairs, somebody died and I know who.
Who? Give me names.
Pues es que I don't know the name.
Okay, so then you don't know who it is.
I know who it is because they talk about it.
Okay, so give me names. If you know who it is.
Like,
¿Hablas español?
sí.
Okay, nomás me estás echando mentiras ya. Yo no me voy a hacer esto. Ni sabes los nombres. Y estás echando mentiras a este oficial también. So we're not going to be playing this.
Los nombres no me los sé porque les dicen.
Okay, so you don't even know who it is.
El negro, le dicen el negro.
¿Qué? Where do you buy from names?
Ahí se mantiene, les trae una star.
There's a star? Where?
En el coche.
Right cheek or left cheek?
I think left cheek.
Left cheek? What's his actual name?
No sé. Ese es su nombre.
Okay. I'm gonna tell you what I told them. You don't have good information right now because you're giving me BS names. You don't even know names, and you're just trying to tell me what I want to hear. Because, and I'm telling you straight up, right now you're just trying to see what you can do. But this officer can leave you his phone number, his work number. If you can give us actual information on good stuff, guns and drugs, or information that's happening on the streets, then we'll talk. Okay? We can see where this goes.
Do you have a phone?
I don't have a phone.
But you can find a phone on the street.
And Facebook, like a messenger, whenever I get into messages.
So if I gave you my work phone number, are you actually gonna text me?
Yeah.
And it's up to you. If you don't want to, cool. You're gonna get charged with this regardless. But whether it works out with the judge realizing, like, look, Honor, she's helping us, estamos bien.
I mean, depending on the value, we'll cite you out of municipal court. If you help us, like this officer's saying, guns and drugs, or anything else. But Coach, like,
I need names because you're giving us places that everybody knows. We're not gonna play this.
Lives in the back, and también ahí venden blues like all day long.
In the RVs?
No, in the rooms.
What room number?
Pues en los last ones, in the last like in the last, at the second door, mijo, in the back, like really back. Ahí están también.
I need a name or a room number. What's his actual name?
I don't know, mijo, that's his name.
where is he staying?
But what?
Anything about stolen cars?
No,
No, so what is he up to?
he's on blues.
He's selling blues? What else?
Where can I go get a gun right now?
Because they were saying that they were selling guns right there at the inn, some black guy, and one.
You don't know his name?
No, he's a tall guy, fat, black, big, black skin color.
Okay, and he's selling guns out of there?
Yeah, he's like trafficking there. But
Okay.
please don't say nothing because they
I don't know you. Okay? It works both ways. But if you have good information, we'll deal with it in court. But if this pans out, we can get good people, actual bad people off the street.
Yeah.
I get it. Lo que estás haciendo is you want clothes in la madre, but it's not right that you're taking it from these people. But I can understand. You guys are homeless. Unless you give us good stuff, you get what I mean? Yeah. We have an understanding. I don't know.
We need to have a better arrest than this petty misdemeanor stuff. We want the felony drugs, felony guns, even stolen vehicles.